Across America, in bedrooms, in parked cars, in the back rooms of pharmacies, people collapsed with the same small orange bottle beside them. The pills inside carried a doctor's signature, an approval from the FDA, and a promise that almost no one who took them would ever become addicted. The company that made them had already been told otherwise by its own researchers. And long before the worst of it arrived, a court would prove they knew. The drug was OxyContin. The Food and Drug Administration approved it in 1995, and it reached pharmacies the next year. Inside each tablet was oxycodone, a powerful opioid, in the same family as morphine and heroin, wrapped in a slow-release coating that fed the dose out over 12 hours. That coating was the whole pitch. Purdue Pharma argued that because the drug let go of its dose slowly, it was far less likely to be abused, far less likely to hook the patient. To its sales reps, the company put a number on it. The risk of addiction, they told doctors, was less than 1%. Purdue was a private company, owned by one family, the Sacklers. Quiet, immensely wealthy, known mostly for their name carved over the wings of art museums. The man driving OxyContin was Richard Sackler, who had become the company's president in 1999. And the launch worked. In its first year, OxyContin brought in about $48 million. 4 years later, it was selling more than $1 billion a year. But the promise at the center of it was false, and Purdue knew it was false. The company's own market research had flagged the danger early. The biggest negative around OxyContin, its researchers found, was its potential for abuse. People were crushing the tablets to defeat the slow-release coating and taking the whole dose at once. Reports of addiction, of overdose, of pharmacy robberies started arriving within a few years of the launch. And rather than slow down, the company pushed harder. Bigger sales forces, higher doses, longer prescriptions. In a small town in Southwest Virginia, a federal prosecutor began pulling Purdue's internal files, the memos, the marketing plans, the things a company says to itself when it thinks no one is listening. What he found would put OxyContin's maker in front of a federal judge. It would also change almost nothing. We'll come back to him. By the early 2000s, OxyContin had escaped the pain clinic. In small towns across Appalachia and far beyond, it hollowed out families. A parent, a teenager, a neighbor, pulled under one prescription at a time. And inside Purdue, the company the Sacklers owned and ran, the response was not to ask whether the drug was the problem. It was to blame the people taking it. In a 2001 email, Richard Sackler wrote that the company had to, and this is his phrase, hammer on the abusers in every way possible. They were, he wrote, the culprits and the problem. Reckless criminals. But the addicted were not criminals. Most had started with a real prescription for a back injury, a surgery, a bad tooth, handed a bottle and told it was safe. And when Purdue finally changed the pill in 2010 to make it harder to crush, it did not end the crisis. Many of those already dependent simply moved to something cheaper and deadlier that was easy to find on the street: heroin. The prosecutor in Virginia got his case. In 2007, the company that made OxyContin pleaded guilty in federal court to a felony, admitting it had marketed the drug as less addictive and less prone to abuse than it knew it to be. 3 of its top executives pleaded guilty, too, to lesser misdemeanor charges. Purdue paid around $600 million. No one went to prison. That was 2007. Read that date again. A court had established on the record that OxyContin's maker had lied about how addictive the drug was, and the deadliest years of the epidemic were still ahead. The plea was a fine the company could absorb. It kept selling. For another decade, the lawsuits piled up, thousands of them, from states, from cities, from tribes, from families burying their children. By 2019, under the weight of it, Purdue filed for bankruptcy protection. But by then, court-ordered audits showed the Sacklers had already pulled somewhere between $10 and $11 billion out of the company.
Then came the deal that nearly worked. In the bankruptcy, the family offered to pay billions toward the crisis, on one condition. In return, they wanted permanent legal immunity, a release shielding every Sackler from every opioid lawsuit, even from victims who never agreed to it, while the family itself never filed for bankruptcy at all. For a while, the lower courts allowed it. Then, in June of 2024, the Supreme Court of the United States struck it down, ruling 5-4 that a bankrupt company cannot be used to buy immunity for the people who own it, against the will of the people they harmed. So everyone went back to the table. The agreement that came out of it, approved in late 2025, is worth about $7.4 billion, most of it from the Sacklers, paid out over 15 years, with money set aside at last for individual victims. This time, there is no immunity. Purdue Pharma itself was dissolved, and its remains were folded into a new public benefit company owned by a charitable trust run with no Sackler anywhere in it, built only to make the medicines that treat addiction and reverse overdose, and to pay for the cleanup. And yet, the family kept most of its fortune, still among the wealthiest in the country. Across all the years of settlements, not one Sackler ever admitted personal wrongdoing, and not one was ever criminally charged. They paid in money. The prescription opioid wave that OxyContin is blamed for igniting was only the first chapter of an epidemic that, by the CDC's count, killed nearly 500,000 Americans between 1999 and 2019. One by one, the museums took the Sackler name down off their walls. What sets this disaster apart is where it came from. Not a cartel, not a back alley. OxyContin arrived with a prescription pad, a government approval, and the name of a respected family on the label, sold as the safe choice by people who already knew that it wasn't. The full breakdown, the numbers, and every source are in the description and in our Telegram.